Hey, good afternoon. Corrie here, coming in to do another podcast of She Is More Than Existing. This is the podcast that is about keeping it real. It is the one that is beyond the roles that we play, the jobs that we have, and it's about really truly getting to that authentic self and also being able to laugh at ourselves a little bit and being able to explore and discover a whole lot more about ourselves and getting to know some of the deeper truths about who and what we are. Um, so since the last time I've been here, I did something. I actually got married. That's something that was like, I had talked about, we had discussed, we had gone back and forth, and then all of a sudden we had a marriage license, and all of a sudden we were having a bigger than planned wedding. And so I am officially a married woman for the first time in my life. I have done something that I have never done before. And I kept saying that. I'm like, I've done all these extraordinary things and all these big things in life, but it's the ordinary things and some of the smaller things that people take for granted that they have done in life. And here I am at 52 years old. I have never been married. And for the first time, I am married. Now, I've been with this man for a few years, so he's not new to me, but he was a friend for a lot of years before he became a partner. And one of the things, and I wrote a blog about this a few years ago, and it was about having to really truly leave the friend and start a relationship with the man that I had met. And it was about, you know, I had to let die the friendship and not to and go into the relationship with the man, because as a friend, I knew a whole lot about this man and about about his past, not everything, thank God. But you knew things and you knew people that were in his life, and we were friends with each other's previous partners. And so there's and at this age it's hard not to, of course. And yes, we're all still friends in some way. Um, but we but I had this, he was a friend, and there was just something that was a connection we made, and a mutual respect. But when he became my partner in life, when we started to date, things started to change. And a lot of it changed in the way of I was still trying to behave how I was and who I was. He still had a lot of his things. And I had a lot of knowing of some of the past things. So lacking trust and building the relationship was kind of not so easy. So I wrote a blog about how I had to begin again and truly let the friend die and leave the friend behind. But I also had to let me die. I had to let the pieces and parts of myself heal, be resolved, and release it. And that meant truly letting myself die, letting myself leave behind those parts of me that no longer belonged, that didn't fit, because we bring into our relationships our past, our people of our past experiences. And that's hard enough as it is when you just meet somebody brand new. But when you are previously friends and you begin a relationship, it is not easy. And it was not easy, and it hasn't always been easy. Have we perfected the relationship? Absolutely not. But in the meantime, I've married this man. And I didn't realize, this is what I didn't realize. Honestly, I had no freaking clue that until we literally were putting the rings on our fingers, that I'm like, oh my God, I needed this. I never thought in a million years that I needed to be married, or that ceremonial building of the relationship was going to mean so much to me. And something felt whole. Now, a few weeks before the wedding, I found myself doing everything to drive him away, to self-sabotage this experience. And I found myself really, truly reversing backwards. So this podcast, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Now, this is the second time I've recorded today, because first I recorded one podcast and now I'm coming in to record this one. And as soon as I started, I went to repeat the same podcast thinking that I really needed to redo the other one. And then I realized, no, this is, and no, not realized. My mouth opened. My mouth opened. That's just what happens to me. My mouth opens and shit just comes out, and I just start speaking. And and that's the one thing about me, that sometimes he's like, stop bad. But he married me, so oh well, you're stuck with me. Um, well, I hope he's going to stick with me, and I hope I'm going to stick with him. I hope so, because I said I'm going to do this once in my life and only once, but I never really thought I would, and never thought it was going to happen. But getting married and the day of, and the moment, that very moment, it wasn't until I was in the very moment that I realized that a part of myself started to feel as if it was coming together, like my story was coming together, or my life was coming together, or I was coming together. I don't really know. I don't really know what exactly that was. And I'm not 20, so there's no freaking fairy tale, and the relationship hasn't been no fairy tale. But there was something that just felt as if I was completing my journey here on life, on earth. Almost like, okay, so you were a successful businesswoman. You ran a salon and spa for many years. You were a successful hairstylist, esthetician. You did all those things. You successful spiritual teacher, all those things succeeded at, done things that people can probably sometimes only dream of, published a couple books, wrote 7 books in a couple years, created a couple decks of oracle cards, published one, just a lot of things. Got a, 6 X common laws. But I've done I've kind of lived a life that, and living in different cities and different towns. And I just did. I just went out. I just lived life. Things showed up and I just said yes to a lot of things. And I just jumped into life, and some things never worked out and other things did. But for the past few years, I kept saying, there's many things that people take for granted. And one of them was, getting married. And it's like people automatically assumed at 52 years old that, in my 50s, that I had been married or that I'd been engaged. And I've never been engaged. I still never been engaged ever. Um, but I'm married, so I never did the engagement part. We skipped over that part. We just decided we were going to get married. We went away for the weekend with family and went out to the North Country Fair. If you've never been to the North Country Fair here in Alberta, Canada, I suggest you go there, travel to get to it, look it up. It is absolutely incredible, and it is worth the trip. And so we went to North Country Fair, and we got and we bought these hats, and I bought this witchy hat, and it's like burgundy reddy color and this beautiful ivory flower in the back. Love it. And I wish I had the name of the lady who made it. I will try to find it and add it into the link, but it's incredible. And he bought this gray hat, and we kind of decided before we were going that, yeah, you know what, let's get married, let's do this. But we weren't going to have anyone at the wedding. It was just going to be us. And the whole hat kind of started to inspire me instantly. And we're looking at a vest, and he's like, I'm going to wear this hat at my wedding. I'm like, oh my God, how perfect. And the hat is right behind me. It's right there. And so this whole hat became this inspiration. We went home on the Monday. We got up Monday, went home Sunday, and on the Monday we got up. We decided around lunchtime, let's go for lunch and let's stop at the registries and let's get a marriage certificate or marriage license. So we stopped and we got a marriage license, and then we just went and had wings, and he had a beer and I think I had a mojito or something at Cilantro and Chives here in Lacombe, another amazing place. If you've never been, get to Cilantro and Chives. And we started, and I'm like, and I chuckled and I said, I've never been engaged. And I said, but I've skipped that and we're getting married. He said, this is as good as it get. Don't push it. And this is what you're getting. Well, we ended up with a bigger wedding than we had thought, and it turned out to be an absolutely beautiful experience. But, there was many emotions and many ups and downs, and rode many, many waves. And a huge part of this journey has truly been, honestly, about having to truly shed those layers and to release and embrace and kind of clear out old energies, past experiences, let go, learn things about each other, discover things about each other. And some things are really fucking hard to have to face sometimes, when you have to look at things and see things and get to know things. And in the end, to still decide that you're going to do life together. And I don't know if I had to have not done the work, would I have stepped into staying probably in the relationship? Would I have ran? Would I have said, oh no, no way, I don't tolerate that, I don't do this. My judgmental, my judgments, my criticism, my so-called thinking maybe I was better than in some ways. And I'm, and I'm very honest about that. Like, oh, I would never have done that. I'm a good person, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, we're just freaking real, and we're just trying to figure out life. And we've all had past experiences. We're all getting to know ourselves, and we're getting to know life. And one of the biggest things for myself was getting to know me, and knowing and recognizing that this man, his job was not to make me happy. His job was not to bring me joy. His job was not to meet my unmet expectations. His job was not to become the man that I thought he should be, ever. And neither was it in vice versa. It wasn't my job to make him happy. It wasn't my job to give him that. We had to become these two individual people, and we've had to work through a lot of things in our lives. We had to really get real with ourselves and get honest with ourselves, and really recognize, did we really want to, were we willing to lose each other? Were we willing to risk losing each other? And in the end, I wasn't. I wasn't so willing to walk away from the relationship as I thought I would. And some of the shock factors of life really truly hurt, and I had to discover them and find them out. It has not been an easy journey, but I am thankful that I am 52 and I am where I am doing this journey right now. And yes, I do know, like, that when there's often people who start out early in life together and they grow together and they grow up together. Um, but we also don't realize how much we can also trauma bond, how much we can be, codependent, those type of things that often we don't get when we're younger, that we don't understand. And I would never have labeled myself as being codependent, or that I was even, remotely controlling or trauma bond. But I did realize how much I had a lot of fear stories, and I had a lot of expectations. And but I also had a lot of non-negotiables, and a lot of things that were negotiable. But there was a lot of non-negotiables that I just was not willing to have in my life again. Um and that was in any relationship, and that was including the relationship with myself. And so marriage has definitely been a little bit of a new journey for me. And along the way, a week and a half after, or a week after, we went on a little mini honeymoon, because he had started a new job. We can't really take a honeymoon, but we went camping. And the first few hours there, I got stung by a wasp. And I went down, in my body. I have an autoimmune condition, and he's had to care for me. And he's had to really truly care for me. I mean, was on the flat of my back, I was in bed. He literally stepped in, jumped in, and has been my rock. And not really asking me what I need, but doing things that I need, that I really wasn't asking for. And the first night, when it was really bad, I was like rolling around on the floor in pain, and I just heard him get up out of bed, and he put his jeans on, and he just said, "We're going now." I'm like, "Where are we going?" He says, "You're going to the hospital now." And it was just such a authority in his voice, but it was one of love, that his true deep concern, that this was his wife, and his wife was in pain, and he was going to care for his wife. And that experience had has never it hasn't left me. I've remembered. I remember. I don't remember much of it being in hospitals and too much pain, but I do remember him holding my hand him rubbing my foot, and the doctor asking me questions, and him stepping in to answer them. And he knew the details. He knew about me. He knew how to answer those questions. And I was so out of it, I probably would have totally not answered them correctly. And the second time we had to go down was a few days later, and he was the exact same way. He knew the medications I was on. He knew what I had already been treated for. And he was speaking for me on my behalf in a way that I realized I was not alone anymore. I did not realize that even in the time we had been living together, which has been over 5 years, that I had always still been living in my super independence and preparing myself for being alone again. I could never fully ever let that guard down. I never really didn't realize that a whole lot of who and what I was not letting him in. I didn't trust him. And sometimes there was good reason, not gonna lie. It's been a journey. It's been a journey. But I didn't trust him in the areas of caring for me, like caring for any needs, stepping up. I was always trying to keep everything as if we were roommates. And I realized that I had probably done that in every single relationship I was ever in, and not intentional, but I never really let anyone into my life. I kept people at distance from me. I never entered into a relationship thinking this is going to be my person. I always kind of kept them at a distance. And I was doing this so many things, so many ways in this relationship, but in the same breath, I was asking for this sense of, marrying. And the funny thing about it is that I had seen him one day before we were dating. And I just remember saying to my friend, and I'm like, I'm going to marry that man. And it just kind of came out of my mouth and I didn't expect. And I'm like, oh, no. And she's like, what? And I'm like, oh my God. And we had a few moments like that would happen. And it's because my soul was speaking. I really feel like that this may have been my soulmate, but I was keeping him at a distance. And here I am. I'm the person who's wrote the books. I'm the person who teaches this, but I'm also very human. And I've been alone in this world, doing life on my own, even though I have had people in my life for a very long time. I was the single mom. I was the person who, had to make my own way, had to pay my own way, do my own things, those type of things. Have I had support? Yes. I'm not going to give it all up like, oh my God, I've been all alone in everything. No, not at all. That would be a half-assed truth. But that was my mindset, right? And so the mindset that I was existing from was truly that mindset of being super independent. I got it all. I can do it all. And I realized that even within our household, often I was doing things without even asking if he would like to do this, or just allowing him enough time and space to do things. And what I've realized is that prior to getting married, in the past few months, I started to step back and just give him time and space to step in and give him the opportunity to speak up, to do things. I stopped answering my own questions, which is a trauma response that I had of, I would ask him something. Do you want to buy this? Or do you think we need this? And I would answer, no, never mind. I don't think we need that. We got enough of that. And he'd look at me and he'd walk back and I'd be talking, and it was a fear story. I was afraid of being yelled at. I was afraid of getting something wrong. Like, this all comes from past experiences. And so, or afraid I was asking for too much and I wouldn't want to ask anyone for too much. And he would kind of look at me. And since being married, I've noticed there's a big shift in myself, an adjustment, and there's definitely a adjustment to be made. And so, is marriage for everybody? Probably not. Is marriage for me? As of right now, yes. But I feel like this is something on a soul level. This is something on a deeper level, that sometimes two souls come to earth, and we have to go through our human experiences. So maybe there's areas in life where I've already done the healing work. I've already gone through my journey. And maybe God is just beginning to work with him, universe, divine, whatever it may be. But prior to, there was an experience of where I kind of was angry one day and I'm like, that's it. I'm going to just do this life on my own and I'm done. And I was walking around the corner and I heard, don't leave. You'll be sorry. Don't leave. There is much yet to come. There is much good yet to come. Have patience. Remember where you were. And I've really had to look at that a lot, was remember where I was, remember where I had been, remember what I had been through, remember all that I had to unravel, all that I had to look at, all of the isms, the addictive habits and behaviors. Like really truly diving in. And of course, I'm not going to give you all the details, but I just want to talk about life and that we may arrive and we may meet people in our lives, whether it's marriage, whether it's friendship, and we're not all going to be on the same page. We're not even going to be walking the same journey. We're not going to be even in the same mindset. We're not going to be in the same place. But maybe the universe just keeps shifting us, keeps moving us, keeps getting us to get ourselves to the place. And also getting us to the place of where we start to care enough about ourselves, self-realization, that's to find that self-care, to have compassion for ourselves, that we can start to ignite that light, turn that on, and start to seek out that feeling of what we want our future to be. And we start to feel happiness within ourselves. We start to remember the moments of joy within our lives. And so that experience was a joyful experience. That experience was happiness. But that will not hold us forever. But what's holding me and holding me in my truth is my awareness of what it took to get this woman to the point of being ready to put on that dress. Getting the woman to the point of where she was ready to partner and fully, truly allow her vulnerability, to allow my heart to fully break open, to allow myself to fully make a commitment, to say yes to a new experience, to say yes to a life that I have not walked before, to know that experience, those memories are just memories now. They're a part of the past. But who and what I am on the other side of the marriage, who and what I'm becoming in discovering more and more about myself and more about how I don't have to be everything for everyone. I don't have to be the vigilante of my own life. I do not have to live like a cat on hot bricks. I do not have to face the fears and the downfalls in life alone. I do not have to worry about all the finances alone. I do not have to do all of those things alone. Now, my business, that's my personal business, my business itself. Yeah, that's my shit. I got myself into that stuff. But my life, I don't have to worry where rent is coming from alone. That there is two of us. And that as a soulmate energy, as a union of these two souls, is that now being able to build something from a sense of a wholeness instead of broken pieces is really truly something that inspires me as an artist with the canvas, and it allowed me the space to let myself kind of let my own anger out, my own ugliness out of, being not angry with him, but angry with, where I am in life, in so many ways that because I was in such a fight or flight, such a survival mode for so many years, that most of my life has been created from survival mode. And it's just get things done, just make things happen, just keep going, just keep going. And now it's that I feel this sense of inspiration in my heart that I want to create more happiness and joy experiences in my life, which means I really truly also want to step into thriving. And I want somebody and I want this person to thrive with me and to be a part of it. But I also have a lot of pieces in my life that are from the existence of the survival mode, the single woman, and the role as the single woman I played for a long time in my life. And now that I'm not the single woman, now that I am the married woman, this is a whole new journey. But there's a lot of cleaning, clearing, healing, resolving that has come, and a lot of caring, compassion, and a lot of great understanding and a lot of like patting myself on the back for the kick-ass woman and the kick-ass job I have done in this life by being so much of that single woman, that independent woman. But now I'm not just, it's not about just being an independent woman, that it's okay for me to lean on him. It's okay for me to depend on him, as well as it's okay for him to lean on me and to depend on me, but still be two individuals, that we don't share the same brain. We still get to have, we still got to take our journeys. We still got to walk our paths and walk our way. And I just keep saying, don't you feel so blessed and so lucky that we have this marriage? And he kind of chuckles and laughs, but I've picked up on the things that I used to be offended by that are actually his way of communicating. And it's because he doesn't know how to use the words, and I'm very vocal, and I write, so I'm very expressive of those words. Whereas he'll send me a song. He'll send me a song. He's a musician. He'll send me a song, or he has like hand movements or things like that he does, or it's like facial expressions. And now I'm getting that they are actually gestures of love, and they were not gaslighting. They were ways that he didn't have words. And so partnering, understanding each other, getting to know each other in such a way, but it's also opened me up to get to know myself and to really truly let die that single woman energy, that independent woman, that strong woman, that courageous woman that was doing it all on her own, and allow myself an opportunity to breathe now. And this has been one of the most craziest journeys of my life. And there's just so many things, and I'm sure I'll share more of this and as time comes, and I'm just processing it. So it wasn't the podcast I had intended, but it was the podcast that I really wanted to share. And it's one of hope for other women who have never really let themselves embody a relationship, and what it means to truly embody the relationship, and how first you really truly got to build that relationship with yourself, because the most powerful relationship you'll ever have is the one with your soul, the one of with you. That is the most important relationship. It is the most powerful relationship, and it takes shutting up and being quiet and listening, and stop running, stop chasing. And when you stop chasing all of life, life comes towards us. And when we start to listen, wisdom comes in. And so I built that relationship, and I had been building that for a long time. Before Christmas, I just heard, you're going to write another book, and you're going to write it in 3 weeks. You're going to finish it on Christmas morning. And it's going to lead you to, it's just a part of finishing. It's finishing the story, Corrie. You have to finish this story. And I didn't realize it was the finishing of the independent woman. Or the single woman. And it was the woman I'm yet to know. That's the name of the book. And I literally wrote it in 3 weeks, and I finished it on Christmas morning. And it really truly was. And it has the longest chapter of my life is the last chapter. And then there's a conclusion, but then it was like, okay, I finished the conclusion. And then there was a second conclusion. And I think I could have went on forever with conclusions, but I didn't. So that book will take some time to get out, of course, but I write these books for me first, obviously. So they're my stories, my experiences. And I think it was a sense of preparing me for what was to come. And as I can prepare now from this place of being, the married woman, the woman who's in this partnership, who's bonded and made the commitment from a place of, a part of my life feels like, this is what I came to earth to do. This is a part of life that, I came to have this experience. And it seems so ordinary. And it seems like it really shouldn't be that special, but it really means something to me. But now I'm beginning this relationship of getting to know this woman, and getting to allow myself to experience and learn the power of stepping out of survival mode and stepping into trust on a whole new level, stepping into faith, and stepping into being able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Being able to just step into but knowing myself, knowing this woman, and letting go of some of the behaviors, the habits, all of those things that had followed through. And it's not too late. It's never too late. And you may never have been married. Never say never. never say never. You never know what's coming. You never know what life has in store for you. You never know what you signed up for before you arrived here. And that, your fates when you're meant to meet. And you can't open the doors to your destiny, to your future by being somebody other than you. You need to be you to be recognized. That's the key to get to the doors of your destiny, to the opportunities that are for you, is to get to that authentic, true, real self. And when you meet that, life starts to flow in. And when you open it, it's not like you're walking through. It's just like everything just starts to come at you. And it's good things coming at us. It's not things that we run from, but we often try to run from the things that are for us because we don't want to have to face the hard stuff. And it really truly has been a journey of having the courage to face the hard things, to see the hard things in myself and in my partner and in life and in life in general, just the world. And so um yeah, I don't know, I just feel like there's this excitement in me, there's this knowing within me, but I feel something, and I could feel it. I didn't know it was, I just said it was the experience I didn't know I needed so bad until I was in the experience. And I think I felt the same way of when I gave birth to my daughter. I didn't know that I needed to be a mom until I was literally holding the baby. And when I was holding her and she was in my arms, and I'm like, this is what I needed. I needed to feel this. So this is another one of those experiences. And so I'm interested to hear your experiences and those type of things. And it was amazing how many people would say to me prior to when I was out preparing and getting decorations and stuff for the wedding, I'd run into so many women who would just say to me, or so many men and women, and they're like, oh, you're having a party? I'm like, yeah, I'm getting married. And they're like, oh yeah, I did that once, so I'll never do that again. And it just, that's gaslighting, right? Those, instead of like, oh, good for you, congratulations, I'm not in your experience, right? I had an experience and who knows, but you just don't do that to another. Don't do that to another. I just say, good for you. Good for you. We don't know how each other's experiences are going to turn out. We don't know what destiny has in store for us, but for whatever reason, I do know that when we need an experience, they do come for us, and they do help us in some way. And so this is helping me in some way know something new about myself. And I think it's about the woman who is finding her truth again, finding her confidence, and not looking over her shoulder, not looking over my shoulder. And that's a hard one. I've been looking over my shoulder, creeping around for a lot of years. And for some reason, I feel a little more safer today. So I'm happy to be able to share this story. And thank you for listening. Thank you for always being here. And remember, she is here to more than exist. You are here. She is you. And you are here to become the best version of you. And just so you know, I feel like I might be changing the name of the podcast. So if you see the name change on the YouTube channel, it will probably be changing to the Everyday Goddess podcast, because that's the Oracle cards. And if you have not seen my Oracle cards, these have come out as well. So these came out before the wedding. So two big experiences. And so this is the Everyday Goddess. This is the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards. That's the booklet. And it's in big print. Yes, it's in big print. And then these are the cards. Oh, hair attached. And this is the back of the cards. And they come in a beautiful little box, and they're shipped out to you all packaged up really pretty. And they've all been Reiki'd and got all the little energy put into them. And you can also purchase my More Than Existing revised book. So if you go on Amazon to buy my More Than Existing book, get the one with the white on top. Go to books. For some reason, we just can't get Amazon to get this fixed, but you have to go into books in order to find it. You can't just search it. It will not come up. Only the old publishing company or the printing company has the old book, and that's the one that comes up, but we have revised it. We've done some re-editing on it. And so it has a white on top, and it will say the publisher is literally me. And so it has white on it. So that's More Than Existing. The second book is My Truth of Existing Beyond the Reflection. To get that book, to get them all, just go to my website, go to corriethorne.com, and you'll be able to find them. Yes, I have changed my last name, but I will be keeping my business name. But I did change my last name I did make that choice. So I do have a new last name. And so you can go to my website, go corriethorne.com. All the links are there to purchase all the books, the Oracle cards, everything, and of my up and coming new class, and not new to me, but the next generation, the next class of the level 1 of More Than Existing to be a light worker coach. That first starts with you, about self-actualization, healing, realizing your truth, your potential. The level 1 starts in September. And so registration is open. Get yourself signed up. Go check it out on mteacademy.ca. That's More Than Existing Academy of Higher Consciousness, shortened MTE Academy.ca. All on the website, is on the one website, or the links are all in the section below, in the comment section below. Please subscribe if you like these. Also, there's a spot to donate. I don't get paid for doing these. There is no payday. There's not many paydays comes with this work. So you can leave a donation. You can donate to my work if you love my work, and that is in the PayPal link, also in the comment section on YouTube as well. My podcasts are not anywhere else at the moment. They are only on YouTube. And I do share them over to my other YouTube channel as well, which is Corrie Thorne, spiritual, it's psychic medium and mystic. So that one is where all my woo-woo is. You can check it all out there. Please subscribe, hit the bell for notification of when the next video will be coming out. Much love, and I will see you at the next podcast. Bye-bye.